can see that there was also, I think there was also an object of those. No, maybe that was just in the one I was in earlier. Okay, so in edit mode, I'm going to select these front glass headlights because we want those to explode just the same way as we want the just that way we want the windshield to explode because it's glass. So hit Control L with one of its vertices selected, and you can kind of grab it around and make sure it's the right one, and then just hit P and separate by selection. And what it does, it'll take that geometry, make it a completely new object. So that's good. That's what we want. I'm going to hide that again for now. I can see immediately we have kind of a problem with this over here, and I think that was just a problem from joining it. They had two separate, subdivision surface modifiers, which prevented this. But since we applied the majority of the modifiers when we converted, then we're just going to have to do a little bit of manual cleaning up. So just kind of select vertices where you can see it's connected to the seats inside of there. Just kind of pull them in. Oop, that's not one. There we go. Where's another one? There. Okay, much better. And just to make sure it's completely good, I'm going to increase the subsurf to make sure it's all clean. Okay, cool. So there we go. Now that we have that all taken care of, I'm going to take the windshield and actually just select the car mesh and hit I think it's Control I. There we go. Yeah, Control I, and that selects everything except the object that you had selected. And I'm going to move that to a different layer just for now. So we don't even have to worry about it. We can see exactly what we want to be deforming, not worry about anything else getting in the way. Okay, so if we go, I believe it was frame 51. So if you go down here, press frame 51, it'll just go immediately to that frame, and you'll see that right here is right where we want it to be deforming. So I'm going to add in a shape key. First you have to set the basis, which is the basically the foundation that you all the other shape keys are based off of, hence the name. Pretty clever there. And then I'm going to add a new one, key 1, and you can see that just as a little test. Oh shoot, I forgot to do the mirror modifier, and I even had the pole selected. Wow, great job. Worst tutorial ever. Okay, I'm going to apply the mirror modifier because you can see that if I add a shape key here, if I add a shape key and then try to go and apply this, because we don't want it to, demolish uniformly, that's kind of silly. If I try to apply that, you can't apply a modifier with the shape key selected. So I'm going to take that away before we get in too in depth with it, and then just kind of apply the mirror modifier. But you see, since there was a few objects like the grill down here that weren't even mirrored, that didn't need to be mirrored, and so it kind of doubled it over onto itself. I don't know if you can actually see it because all the vertices are right on top of each other, but if we select everything and go to remove doubles, you can see that it removed almost 2,000 vertices. So you really want to be sure that you do that first, otherwise you're just going to have doubles over the place and it really gets messy. So be sure to do that. And then subsurf, I could apply one more level. How dense do I want it? I think I'll be good. If you want to go basically the more detail you want, the more subsurf you want to apply now, because you can't really apply it later. But for now, I'll just stick with this. Actually, I'm going to apply one, and then add another subdivision surface, and then just not view it. Okay. There we go. So, back to what I was saying. In the object data, you can see that we have the shape keys, and I already explained the basis, and then key 1. So what this does, you can see if you go into edit mode and take a vertice, let's just say this one, drag it up somewhere so it's really obvious. If I go back into object mode, you can see that that didn't happen at all. What I did in edit mode has not affected the object whatsoever. And that's because on this shape key, the value is set to 0. However, if I slide this up, you can see the vertice coming up, and there we go. I think just by doing this, you can kind of understand exactly what it's doing. It's how much this shape influences the previous one. So I'm going to delete that shape key. We don't really want that little triangle up there. Add a new one, and now let's get to deforming. Kind of smashing it all together. So in frame 52 is where it's inside the pole. And obviously we don't want it inside the pole. So let's go into edit mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on proportional editing and make sure this is set to smooth. Then I'm going to press C. Actually, I'm going to press this so I can see the pole at the same time. What this button does, it just lets you select everything, no matter if it's hidden or not. Not hidden, if it's behind another object. So you can see that the center of the crash is about right here. That's where it's really going to be hitting the pole. So I want that to be about here. That's about where it would hit. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to drag it back. Okay. Wow, this has not happened before. Please don't crash, please don't crash. Please. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, looks like it crashed. I guess I'll have to redo this part. Oh, thank goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Wow, I consider myself very lucky. I forgot to save. So let that be a lesson to you. Go to File, Save, and car crash tutorial .blend. Okay. So I don't know why that was all weird. So I'm just gonna press grab and then X, slide it back, and what the heck? Okay. I apologize. 1 second here while I get this all figured out. Let me just restart Blender. Okay. Wow, that was a really lucky place to save. So, proportional editing, sometimes it takes up extra memory. Though I have plenty of memory, I don't know what's going on here. So if I just select that vertice, enable, maybe just because it's so dense down here, probably because I applied the subdivision surface modifier, it's probably just so dense that it takes up too much memory, unfortunately. Yeah, there we go. When I select just one vertice, it works perfectly fine. I don't know what was up with that. So if you scroll up and down on the mouse wheel, I also believe it's page up and page down. Yeah, that works too. You can adjust the influence of the proportional editing. So I'm just going to scroll it back to about there, because I mean you can see where it's intersecting the pole right there. And that is a really unrealistic crash. I mean, it's not bad, but it's really unrealistic because it's not really random at all, and it's not really how cars crash. So I'm going to change this now from enable to connected. And what this does, you can see if I just select something on the hood, that it only moves the vertices that are directly connected to it and not anything else. So that's a really handy tool, and I'm just going to pull this around some more. Maybe I want the hood to buckle, because that's what hoods do when they crash. So I'm going to turn down the influence, excuse me. About there maybe. Maybe grab that one, just kind of pull it up. It doesn't have to be too neat or anything. I mean, after all, it's a collision. You don't have to be super precise. Obviously, the more realistic, the better. But I mean, for now, I think I'll just kind of wing it. If you look at reference material, you'll definitely see hoods kind of buckled like this, maybe a little bit more extreme. This is where the subdivision surface, like I said before, comes in handy. because if you added more polygons, then you'll have much more control here in this stage where you can really adjust exactly how you want the car to crash, and it's completely adjustable, and you can adjust at any time, even after the simulation's done and you're almost ready to render and you're like, oh wait, let's change this. Then you can just go ahead and change it. It's not a big deal at all. So that is a big plus. Um, let's see, another thing. Let's just kind of pull that back a little bit, kind of um, detach the edges of this. Just kind of mess it up. Oh, that was weird. Okay. One last thing, I'm going to choose random. What that does is, just like the other fall offs, the other one was smooth, which kind of has a nice little, smooth curve to it. But this one is random, and